Hey, Russell, where's your picture from when you bought your car?
I don't know. We didn't take one. It was also dark.
Oh,
Lame.
yeah. Also, give me a copy. Why do you have to look for it every time?
I know where it's at.
Do you?
It's in one of 3 spots. Here, here, or in a
looking-
folder.
It's looking for it.
Copy.
Welcome back to DQP Does, Drafty Quarters Podcast Network movie review show, where we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. With me today is my co-host, Nathan.
And if you want to know what you should be listening to, tune into Patreon.
All right, fuck you. And our producer, Russell.
Didn't we already do this episode?
God damn it. I am your host, Shane. Tonight, we continue our epic journey through the Star Wars saga with the beginning of the third trilogy in the series, The Force Awakens.
But did it?
I mean, The Force Awakened, like, in such an incredible way in one of the characters that they didn't have to learn how to use it in any way. They just could use it. So let's go over the cast real quick, because this is a almost completely new cast. There are a couple of returning characters, but for the most part, it's a new cast. We have the returning Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, reprising their roles as Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia. Actually, she's what, General Leia now?
General Organa.
General Organa. Yeah, sorry, last name. And then we have Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley as Rey, John Boyega as Finn, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, Lupita Nyong'o as Maz Kanata. I don't remember who that character is, which is weird because like I know her, so I don't know.
Show me your face.
Show me her face. Okay, the picture's just not coming up, but the little tiny picture. She was in like she's in all the Jordan Peele horror stuff. I think she was in.
I don't remember her
Black
being
Panther.
in this.
Maz Kanata.
She's the little
Is she the
bug
little
lady?
Okay,
Little bug lady.
She's the
bug-eyed
voice.
lady.
She voices that character.
Voices that character.
Okay. Andy Serkis was Supreme Leader Snoke. Domhnall Gleeson as General Hux. Anthony Daniels reprising his role as C-3PO. Max von Sydow as Lor San Tekka. Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. Gwendolyn Christie as Captain Phasma. I didn't realize she was Captain Phasma. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Wasted talent.
Oh, Simon Pegg was Unkar Plutt.
Daniel Craig was random stormtrooper.
Yeah. He's not credited, though.
Uncredited random stormtrooper.
Simon Pegg was the junk dealer guy that Ray was taking stuff on Jakku,
Yeah, I
right?
just said it. Unkar
He's
Plutt.
offering portions.
Oh, I don't know. I wanted to make sure everyone knew who we were talking about.
God damn it. But yeah, so that's Greg Grunberg was Snap Wexley. He's one of the X-Wing pilots.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Heroes. I think that's really about all that matters. Warwick Davis was in it. Wallavan? I don't know who that is, though. Admiral Akbar was in it?
Yeah. I think Olivan was the little guy at the meeting. At the
meeting.
resistance meeting.
Okay.
I almost
Anyway.
said rebellion, but that's wrong.
That's wrong. It's a different word for the same thing. Led by the same people. It's like, what the fuck? All right.
Where do we want to start?
Um,
Because I kind of want to start with this, if you guys don't care.
Go ahead.
Okay. Poe acquires a thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, he was sent to get a thing.
Right. But
Yeah.
so Poe acquires a thing. Much
Okay.
like Leia acquires a thing in A New Hope. He gives thing to droid.
Uh-huh.
Much like Leia gives thing, message, plans to droid. Bad guy shows up acting all hard. Captures Poe. Much like when Vader shows up and captures Leia. Poe gets snarky, gets locked away. Much like how Leia gets snarky and gets locked away.
Uh-huh.
Cuts to next scene.
Are you going to go through the whole movie?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Droid rolls through desert. Much like how C-3PO and R2-D2 walk
Yep.
through desert.
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 It's a
Desert.
D. It's not a D at the end.
Sorry. Cuts back to Poe on the bad guy's ship.
Uh-huh.
Just like how it immediately cuts back to Leia on the bad guy's ship. Next cutscene introduces our second protagonist. Just like the next cutscene in A New Hope introduces Luke.
Yeah.
Rey is hanging out on a desert planet. This one would have been okay because I really like this next shot, and it's one of the best shots in A New Hope when Luke is rolling across the desert in the speeder
Mm-hmm.
and the sun's setting, or the two suns are setting.
Yep.
Amazing fucking shot in A New Hope. Amazing recreation of that shot when Rey's speeder scene is across the desert, or is going across the desert, and there's like some stuff and the sun in the background. But with Luke, the shot felt a little bit more cathartic because it had like the timing was right. It was paced well. Whereas
Okay.
with Rey, it was just like literally less than 3 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Just like, hey, we want to get this in there, and just goes across. It cuts next to Rey cooking bread alone. Similar to Luke drinking milk, but with his
Aunt and uncle.
aunt and uncle.
Owen and Beru.
And then we get to the next scene where Rey comes across
Crispy
the
bodies
droid.
by the door.
Rey comes across the droid,
Uh-huh.
and then that's also equivalent to Luke and his uncle coming across the droids. And then,
Buying them from the Jawas.
yep, and then I got tired of taking these notes because it was going to be the whole fucking movie.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I just wrote down, the next one I wrote down was a guy in a stormtrooper outfit saves Poe. Much like how Luke in a stormtrooper outfit saves Leia.
Uh-huh.
But I could have kept going. Literally, I just could have kept going. Now there are a few huge key differences that I did want to make sure we highlight because I just don't want to keep saying it's A New Hope over and over again. But
I mean, it is.
it is.
The Death Star's bigger.
The introduction of Finn is quite a bit different, and
Yeah.
honestly, I think Finn is like the character itself isn't necessarily original, but the way the character progresses throughout the movie is probably the most original part of this movie.
I think for the series, it is the most original character because we haven't had anyone else that was like a
Deflect.
stormtrooper or defect. The hell's wrong with you today?
Slept 2 hours. Anyway,
We haven't had anybody like defect from the Empire
right.
or the First Order, whatever. It's the Empire. If we haven't had anybody do that, other than Vader, but like that was like, for a reason. It was his son. It wasn't just like somebody being like, man, this is fucked up and wrong. I don't want to be part of this anymore, and walking away.
Right.
Because that's what Finn does.
Yeah.
He's part of the first battle, and he's like, oh my God, we're fucking bad guys.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And his friend dies.
Yeah.
So, and like that I don't know. That was fucked up. That scene, the opening scene's weird. Like I really like the opening scene. And so I really like the opening scene. It's weird how often in this movie J.J. Abrams reverts to there's this mysterious character that's a huge part of the universe that you know nothing about.
Okay.
Like the older guy in the first scene
Max
that dies.
von Sydow.
Yeah. Him, and then later we get, well, not this one, I guess, but later, next movie, we get Forrest Whitaker and that whole character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's supposed to make us feel like the universe is larger than what we get to see, but like the movie itself already does that because it's a Star Wars movie. I don't know, that part weirded me out. I'm probably gonna be all over the place. I'm sorry.
Well, I feel like with those two particular characters, it's kind of something that's happened in the movies before, right? Because there was like characters that you only meet once or twice that have like a lot of detail in like their costuming and their makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they might come back later and become something more, or be in another piece of media, because there's like a lot of like the Senate and stuff, and like different Jedis and shit that they had in the prequels, and
yeah, I guess that's
stuff
true.
like that. There's a lot of these characters throughout all the movies.
Maybe, yeah. Okay,
So
that's a good point.
I didn't think that was that weird, because like sometimes they're just like side characters that are important to the plot.
Yeah.
But their backstory isn't important until they use them for something else.
Yeah, that's probably true. Because I already knew quite a bit about a lot of the members of the Jedi Council from the prequels before the prequels came out.
Right.
Just because the information was out there. Like Ki-Adi-Mundi is one of my favorite Jedis that's been featured in like games and stuff.
Yeah, see, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
He's the tentacle guy. He's got like tentacles on his face.
Sure.
Where he looks like a squid. I don't know how to describe it.
I mean, I get it.
Okay.
I'm just...
Aquatic Jedi.
Sure.
I like Ayla Secura.
Ayla Secura is also awesome.
Is that a Twi'lek?
Huh?
Is it the Twi'lek?
Yes.
The one with the hair tendril
Yes.
things? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's Twi'lek.
They showed her dying.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Was that the one in the weird forest thing?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And she like falls
Funky and like
Yeah.
gets shot like 100 times in the back while she's on her ground.
Yeah.
Then there's Kit Fisto.
Yeah, Kit Fisto's awesome too.
That's a cool fucking name.
Wait. Kit Fisto's the aquatic guy. Ki-Adi-Mundi's the guy with the huge forehead.
Ah, yes.
I fucked that up.
The like half...
I know a lot about these characters.
I don't know what their names are.
And I don't know shit.
He's like half Conehead, half Klingon.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like there's all these characters and stuff where in the movies they're like either just set dressing or side characters. I mean that's from the very beginning of A New Hope. You go into the fucking you go into the cantina, Mos Eisley, Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got like Greedo. Greedo has like 5 lines, but it's important that he's there, and it's important that he's connected to Han Solo,
Yeah.
and it's important that Han fucking shoots him first.
Yes.
Just want to reiterate that in every episode.
Because preemptive striking a guy you know is going to shoot you does not make you a bad guy.
Yeah. Anyway, but like, he's only in it for a minute, right?
Yeah.
But he's important.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's probably less weird just because all of that feels more established to me than this.
Right.
So
Right, because there's like so much more.
showing my biasness.
Yeah, there's so much more shit that's been written and made around all those characters because somebody came in and was like, oh man, what if the bat dude from the fucking cantina was a badass smuggler too? They just couldn't speak whatever sonar language or the or whatever he was doing. So I don't think that's a weird thing. I think that's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And some other shit too is just like that. There's like interesting characters in the background that might have something to do with the story, but like they're only in it for a minute and you don't really get their backstory.
Yeah, it's kind of like a world building technique, and it does lead to making the universe feel larger than just the main characters.
Yeah.
So we're complaining because the movie was similar to A New Hope?
No, I'm complaining because this should have just been like, if you were gonna do this, they should have just remade A New Hope, because they should have been like, okay, these 6 movies over here, and we've gotten rid of the extended universe. This is the original Star Wars stuff that we're gonna draw from, and we're gonna start this whole new thing, because it's a shot for shot remake. Like literally scene by scene is crafted
The beginning, yeah.
after. Yeah, I mean there is a certain point it breaks
comes
away.
apart, yeah.
So we're complaining because it's like A New Hope?
Because it's not original. It's not
it's
because A New
unoriginal.
Hope is bad. It's because it's unoriginal.
So we're complaining because it's A New Hope?
What's your point? Go ahead.
No, I'm asking. That's a yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's unoriginal.
I'm getting
it's
a yes response.
Yeah, it's unoriginal. It's copying A New Hope. Yeah, that's
so you don't
his
think
point.
that maybe the point of the movie is that if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it? You don't think that that's a universal thing?
Yeah, and that you can get that point across with the First Order, and that's the entire point of the First Order, and they're going back and forth, but it's because we have the Empire and the Republic, and then the Empire falls and the Republic has rebuilt itself, and then the First Order is like in the shadow, and then this movie is them coming out of the shadows and being like, no, fuck the Republic.
Yeah,
and
just destroying it completely.
Yeah,
because they annihilate the planet upon which its entire governance is held.
Yeah, all 5 of them. Because you destroyed one planet, George Lucas.
System.
I'm going to destroy 5. But so I was also thinking when I was watching it, as much as I had already knew that I was going to talk about the similarities between The Force Awakens and A New Hope, you could make the argument. Yeah, that was weird. We can edit that. You could make the argument that the idea of the movie follows Kylo Ren more than it follows any other character, and that he is just trying to follow in the footsteps of Vader, because he is. But also, I still don't feel like that's enough reason to make like you can homage something or like give your respects to something by copying it in some sort of way, which is a couple of scenes is fine. But like when I just feel like I'm watching the same movie again, what?
Yeah.
Especially when we waited so long. Like we waited so long for new Star Wars movies, and we were so upset with the prequels that you're just gonna Like, you're just gonna like remake the original trilogy and like say it's a new trilogy.
Yeah, how long was it in between?
2005 to 2015, I think. So 10 years.
So it was longer, obviously, from the first trilogy to the prequels. But
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. IMDb just crashed. What the fuck? Random.
But yeah, so I mean, it just like I just don't understand the thought process, and if the counter argument is, well, the movie follows Kylo and he's trying to follow in Vader's footsteps, so this is why we did it like this, then I mean, I guess, but I just shrugged my shoulders, and none of you can see that, so.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that it's basically A New Hope, but I think Nathan has a decent point of like if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing with that is that like I don't know what the lesson would be, right? Because you've still got like Empire loyalists basically remaking the Empire, right? And like, so are you saying that like no one is learning? So like they're basically trying to do the exact same thing that the Empire did, and they're gonna fail too.
I mean,
and
is
the
it
Republic
any different than human society?
No, it's not. So basically what you're saying is like everyone in the movie is trying to do the same thing they did before, and they're all gonna fail again.
Yep.
So like the First Order fails. Kylo's trying to be Vader and he's gonna fail. Rey is trying to be Luke and she's gonna fail. The Resistance is gonna beat the First Order, but then somebody else is gonna take their place. The Republic is gonna fall, which I mean they're already gone, they're dead.
Yeah.
In this movie. Which I mean that all makes sense. And I don't necessarily have a problem with the general story of this as far as like that goes. All these groups are basically like taking the place of old groups and doing the exact same thing, and they're all gonna end up the same way, right?
Yeah.
Again, isn't that human society?
Yeah, it is. And I don't have a problem with that storyline. That's fine.
I can even respect like the meta commentary of that.
Yeah. Like I said,
here's
that's fine.
the other point, though. Rey's a better Jedi than Luke.
No. Okay. See,
Naturally.
that's my fucking problem.
Naturally,
Is-
Shane.
no.
She's proven it.
It's bullshit
can-
because it's not a thing that happens.
Here we go.
She can Jedi mind swipe people after like 3 tries.
Yeah,
Craig
after
fell
like
for it.
not having any force powers whatsoever,
Yeah.
and she can just like resist a guy that's been training in the force under the like a legendary force user, and is the child of legendary force users, and
Who?
like Kylo is like
Because
From-
Han uses the Force so much,
no, but he's from the Skywalker bloodline.
and Leia uses the Force so much.
She does.
When?
In the extended universe,
Well, I'm
but
not talking about the extended
also in
universe.
the
I'm
next
talking
movie,
about what's
also in the
movie.
next movie.
But we're not talking about the next movie
and
because I don't
in
live in
the movies
future.
before that.
We're talking about the current movie.
Okay, stop doing that.
Well, I'm
Um,
making a point though, and that's what we've been doing.
No, but she's used the Force in the original trilogy when she's sensed things from Luke.
Okay.
Her and Luke reaching out to each other.
Yeah,
Okay.
but she's from the bloodline, and it's passed through the blood, the midichlorians, because George decided to be a fucking twat and turn it into a blood thing.
Okay.
So he is from a legendary bloodline of Force users.
Okay.
He is taught by a legendary Force user in Snoke.
Yeah, and he's from like the legendary line.
Like the chosen line. Okay. Yeah. In air quotes, the chosen line. I don't know what that fucking weird breath thing was.
What if they're not the chosen line?
I mean, that's neither here nor there. We also don't know who the fuck Rey is.
What if she's the chosen line?
We don't know. But
I know we don't.
But
I'm
no one.
speculating
But no one uses the Force like that. There's no frame of reference for that.
because she hasn't been trained.
Right.
But Luke was trained.
Yes.
For how long was Luke trained?
They don't give a time frame.
Let's delve into that just for a second. He was trained on the trip by Ben from one place to another for how long?
They don't tell you.
Then he can use the Force. He can wield a saber and all this other stuff. Then he goes to further training.
Finn can use a saber without training.
Hold on. Then he can go to training with Yoda for how long on Dagobah?
They don't talk about how long that was either.
He's a fucking master after that, right?
Well, he's not. No, he's not a master. He's Jedi Knight.
But
he refers to. He's a
self-proclaimed because there's no council anymore.
Yeah,
and even in 6, he's still like his lightsaber abilities are on par with Vader at the end of the movie. But we don't know what all he was doing in between 5 and 6.
Yeah, they were on par, or Vader pulled punches on 6.
Yeah, I mean that's also actually a really good point because like Vader is clearly getting softer throughout the movies of 4, 5, and 6. He's reverting back to bitch Anakin, but
Hayden Christensen started to take over.
But so Luke still isn't a master in 6. Luke still isn't a master in 8. Like,
right.
We'll get to that. Luke, so he's a self-proclaimed Jedi Knight because there's no one to say
otherwise.
Yoda's dead by the end of
middle of 6.
Middle of 6. But so there's no one to be like, no, other than Jabba, who's like Jedi Knight. But he just laughs in his face. And then Luke pulls some bullshit and is awesome in the first 30 minutes of Jedi. But then he like goes on throughout the movie and rarely uses any Force abilities.
So maybe Rey's just better at it.
And that's bullshit.
Rey's better at it.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe female Jedis are better at certain powers.
Then why weren't there any left? Why did they all get
because of Order 66.
Yeah, why didn't any of them survive Order 66?
I'm just saying.
She's a Jesus character because whatever reason, like J.J. Abrams was fucking lazy when he was writing. Like
same reason Anakin was a Jesus character.
Anakin earned it.
But he was a Jesus character, correct?
He was a figurehead. He wasn't. He wasn't a messiah.
But he did.
Rey literally is a messiah.
He also didn't like fight anyone in Episode 1. The only thing.
You're right. They got to him early. They didn't get to Rey early.
But that's not the thing.
We don't know what Anakin would have been like if he'd have been older and just left on Tatooine. Could have been very similar to Rey.
Yeah, I don't know. But she wasn't using Force powers until shit started happening.
Yeah, because she felt that innate ability inside of her.
It's garbage. Garbage bullshit.
You don't have to like it.
No, I mean, I don't like it, and it's also bullshit.
Why?
Because there's no precedent. No, I'm not. I don't.
I'm giving you just a good argument here.
I don't think it's a good argument. Like,
I mean, that's okay. Most people that are wrong don't think that. So,
see, that's what I don't like.
I'm not going to shit on this movie because I like this movie.
That's fine.
And I enjoyed the movie. And I like the storyline from the movie. And maybe I'm looking at it from a different angle and perspective than what you guys do because I didn't look at the extended universe, read the books, and look deeper into other aspects of it.
I mean,
I'm
even
just taking it for what it
is. Looking at the movies. Okay.
Okay.
Just looking at the movies before this one.
Okay.
All right. 1 to 6.
Okay.
No one else in the universe uses the Force without being trained as much to the extent that Rey does. Now, I granted, we didn't see Anakin at 16, 18, 20, whatever the hell she's supposed to be.
I'm not sure.
18, say.
Yeah, okay.
We saw him at 9, right? He was 9 in 1, Russell?
Yeah, I think so.
9. And the only ability he had was a unconscious predetermination, right?
Mhm.
Because that's how he was a good pod racer pilot.
Which is just basically his senses. He just had hyper senses.
He just
like
had high
Qui-Gon
senses.
describes it as being able to see the future slightly, but
Right.
it's basically just heightened senses.
No, I mean it was being able to see the future, but it was only like a limited amount. So he could only see like right before what was happening, what was actually happening.
Right.
So it manifests as heightened sentences, but it's actually more than heightened sentences. You're going the other way. That's not what it is. It's actually predetermination.
I feel like if it was predetermination, he wouldn't have done a lot of stuff he ended up doing.
Well, he didn't know what it was. That's why it's unconscious predetermination.
Bro, the Emperor clouded his judgment.
I guess maybe if Qui-Gon never told anyone.
If
he didn't even
he
tell
told his
Obi.
mom. That's the only person he told.
Yeah, because Obi wasn't there.
Yeah. But anyway, so like that's all he had. It was an unconscious use of the Force just because he was so strong in it, right? So I'll give you that possibly the person with midichlorians higher than Yoda possibly could have been a strong Force user without training. If they could figure out that they were using the Force, because he didn't even know that he was using it. But she wasn't doing anything with the Force before she started, like, controlling people's minds. Okay? And
Yeah, the Force
did she
had
have
to awaken inside of her.
Did she have any knowledge of Jedi? Because, like, did they talk about that until...
Just Luke.
Yeah, dude.
She knew who Luke was.
Yeah,
She
they
knew
knew
who Luke
Luke was
was.
like the savior of the universe at
Yeah.
one point in time.
Okay. So, like, where did she get the idea that she could just tell someone how to do something?
Well, it took her 3 tries. I just want to point that out.
So, like...
She felt that force from when Kylo was trying to pull her thoughts out of her head.
Uh-huh.
So, she felt a way to resist it and a way to fight back.
Garbage.
And then I think, okay, it could be. But don't you think that would have freaked Kylo out a little bit to see somebody else actually resisting him to an extent that it made him weak?
It did freak him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is garbage.
I mean,
It's garbage to get freaked out.
Kylo...
Well, it's garbage that it happened. And because
Maybe
he's a trained...
not as
Force
good
user.
as we think he is.
Well, I mean, he must not be because he can't even, like, pull a fucking lightsaber out of snow from, like, 10 feet away without it getting yanked out of his hand by a girl that's used the Force for 10 days.
Yeah, imagine if she used it for 20 days.
I'm really upset about that scene.
I know you are.
I think
I thought it was dumb.
the wind might have helped.
The
It was
wind.
windy.
No,
cold,
I'm just mad that Star Wars did it first.
No, god damn it. That's not even the same fucking shit.
How is it not the same thing?
What did
Thor's
Star Wars-
like Mjolnir, and he thinks Mjolnir's going to come to him, and then it flies right past him into Captain America's hand.
Because
It's
he
literally
wasn't
the same
fucking
thing.
reaching
Oh,
for it.
man.
You didn't. I literally just watched Endgame, and that's not what happens.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, did we just assume Thor was reaching for it?
Thor
he
wasn't
wasn't
we were
reaching
led to
for it.
believe.
Yeah,
Oh,
He
okay.
wasn't reaching for it at all. He was like, he was defending himself from Thanos because Thanos has Stormbreaker and he's like pushing it into his chest slowly. So he has both hands on Stormbreaker trying to keep him from like
And then it cuts
shoving.
to the hammer.
Yeah, and it cuts to the
and it's
hammer floating up and then it shoots by them into Cap's hand.
Just talking about that scene gives me chills.
As it should when Rey got that lightsaber.
No, it
Ugh,
didn't.
no, garbage.
Okay.
Fuck. All right.
Okay.
I like Finn. I'm going to talk about stuff that I like in this movie.
Apparently not women, so that's okay.
I like.
Whoa. Edit.
I
Did we
like
take a
no,
sexist
no,
turn
fuck
on
that.
it?
Oh, okay.
No, fuck that. I like Finn in this movie. I think Finn has a lot of good qualities. And he's like kind of duplicitous through the beginning, right? Because he just wants to get away from the First Order. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm totally part of the Resistance. And, you know, we can get to the Resistance, and then I'll stay away from the First Order if I'm with the bad guy or with the guys that are facing them, right?
I'll agree with you 100%. Finn is a great character in this movie.
I love
Yes,
Finn.
in this movie, Finn is great.
He's great in the next movie too, but he gets fucked over. Anyway, so I think he's a really good character. I think the evolution of Leia is fantastic,
Yes.
and she continues to be a strong character. But she's like grown into like a leadership role as opposed to just like fending for herself, kind of. But I mean, she's gradually grown into that through what, 4 movies, right? Because 3 movies, because she started doing that in Empire, right?
Okay.
I don't like what happens with her later, but in this movie, I enjoy Leia.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
No, I really want to bitch about that movie, but we're not to it
when the time comes.
I like Leia. I like Hux because
I super fucking like Hux.
Because Hux is like the super ambitious like douchebag he's Dwight, right? Hux is Dwight, but he's like actually the manager. So like he's the manager and Kylo's like the general manager. So like Kylo's like doing this stuff to further his own agenda, and Dwight's like, oh my god, I'm gonna go tell the fucking CEO on you. So then he go like, you know, Kylo's talking to Snoke, and fucking Hux walks in and he's like, well, we would have got him if Kylo wasn't on his own personal fucking errand, blah blah blah. And Kylo just like looks at him like, you fucking bitch. What the hell's wrong with you? But like, that's a real fucking person. That's a real character that everyone probably has had to deal with at some point in their life.
Yeah.
And I like that character, and I like him
playing it.
Huh?
Him playing that character.
Yeah, I like that guy playing that character. It fits really well, and it was written pretty well.
Yeah. I really like Hux, and I like all the interactions between Hux and Kylo.
Yeah.
It's really good. I really like Adam Driver.
Yeah. I like Adam Driver, too.
I like almost all of the Kylo stuff.
I like Kylo other than the, like, throwing a fit stuff.
Well, I even think... So I even kind of think that the throwing
you like
the
throwing the fit shit? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I kind of like him, like... I kind of like him being like that because... It's Anakin. Like, he's like, but Adam Driver does it better than Hayden Christensen did, because I believe Adam Driver. I believe Adam Driver is like upset and pissed off and wants to throw a tantrum, and so he throws one. And it's still a tantrum, yes, but whereas like Hayden Christensen just like couldn't fucking act, Adam Driver, I believe. And one of my favorite things is when he starts after Chewbacca shoots him and he's fighting with Finn and Rey, and he like punches the side where the wound is. I really like that because it shows like how much pain, like it shows him deriving power from pain, and that is what the dark side is. The dark side is pure emotional force. And it makes sense because he's throwing a tantrum. And, you know, the light side being about, hey, emotions are bad. Fucking control that shit. And the dark side being like, hey, emotions, have them, embrace them, use them.
If you're funneling fuel into an engine to create energy, spilling that fuel all over the deck and all over all the instruments everywhere decreases the amount of energy you're creating. So a Jedi and a Sith Lord standing next to each other will look the same while creating the same amount of energy because the Sith is pouring all of his emotion not out but in to create energy. So him throwing a fit is wasting energy.
And that's why he couldn't get the lightsaber from Rey.
Maybe because he's an inefficient Sith Lord.
I mean, that's not a bad point.
Well, I mean, he just hasn't met anyone that challenged him thus far. And every time that they tangled, he was weakened by that injury.
Well, that's not... Oh, the not challenging him thing isn't true because, like, he was part of an entire, like, class of students who he fought with.
He killed them all.
Consistently. And...
I mean, hold on.
Yeah, wait, what? He didn't kill the Knights of Ren. They all defected with him. He turned...
Oh, no. I meant the other people.
Oh. But... And even Luke, like, he, like, couldn't defeat Luke, and Luke also didn't have the balls to kill him, but I guess we're not talking about why Kylo is a bad guy. But anyway.
Is he a bad guy, or is he just confused?
I think he's definitely a lot confused, because, like, you kind of see that in the scene where Han dies, right?
Yeah,
well, that
was a weird scene.
Well, I also think that's the emotional thing. Like, he killed Han out of thinking that was what he needed to do. Or there's also, fuck, I don't know. Hold on, God dang it. So he's like teary-eyed when he kills Han, but I don't know that I like believe he's actually upset about it as much as I don't know that I believe he's I don't know. I can't
Spit
put this
the
thought
fucking
together.
thought out.
Yeah, I know, right? Go ahead.
Do you think it would have been better if it had been Leia on that bridge?
I don't know. I think that whole scene is like trash. Like him killing Han, like I don't know. None of it, like, it makes sense, I guess, because of what Snoke tells him, but
yeah.
like it doesn't feel right. And it's not just because, like, I love Han and he was a character I grew up with. Like, that whole thing, that whole sequence of events just doesn't feel like he's Han fucking Solo. Why does he go out there? Like, why does he walk up in close quarters? I know it's his son, but he hasn't cared to try this long, that it's however long it's been. Like, he hasn't given a fuck before now. Like,
so he shouldn't give a fuck at all?
No, I'm saying it was forced, like it was written. It's not an organic story. It was written.
Well,
like
the argument that would be put against that is that the reason he hasn't been around is because he couldn't handle the emotion of being around after he left, after he turned to the dark side and left, right? That's the whole thing, right?
Right.
Because he went back to being a smuggler and a thief and shit.
Yeah,
and
theoretically he would stay for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and Leia went back to, leading a resistance. So they hash that out, right? Like, he comes back because he found some people that need to get there, and the piece of the map to Luke and stuff, so he knows that Leia needs it, and really he's been looking for a reason to go back, and Lupita, the character that Lupita plays, tells him that he needs to go home, so he goes home, and he's talks to his estranged woman. I don't know if they were married. Were they married? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I didn't look for a ring.
Him and Leia. He goes back to her.
I don't think he can get married twice.
He goes back to Leia. What the fuck? He goes back to Leia, and they talk about specifically this, right? They talk about, he left, and she went back to leading because of what happened with Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about, hey, bring him home.
Yeah.
So, like, he is, I mean, I think it makes sense for him to try. And he didn't necessarily just, think that, well, I mean, he's talking to me. He's obviously going to kill me. He didn't think that. If he just, like,
what
busted
Leia
his
asked him
lightsaber
to
out,
do.
if as soon as he, like, saw him, then he probably wouldn't have fucking walked across the bridge.
Yeah. I don't.
If he's going to take him home, he's got to get in a fucking ship with him. So, I mean, what do you want him to do?
I want him to just, like, drop Rey and Finn off and not even talk to Leia, because I feel like that's what Han would do. Like,
But that's not what he's done ever when it has to do with Leia.
he's
He's never done it that way with Leia.
I guess. So then the argument is basically he does it because Leia tells him to bring their son home.
he also cares about him because he's his son. That's what made him leave Leia, was when he looked at her, he saw his son who had left and become a villain.
Right.
And he also saw that it was hurting her to look at him, and he didn't want to hurt her, so he left her.
I don't know.
He went to go
think he
save
wanted
his
to
boy.
die.
I mean, like, it's pretty simple, and I think it makes sense. I don't mean that doesn't mean I like it.
Right.
I mean, I didn't want him to die because I also love Han Solo.
Yeah.
And I love Harrison Ford, but I think it made sense.
Okay.
I mean, everything they talked about beforehand pointed towards that happening, basically, right?
Yeah, and you can, like, see it's gonna happen. Like, I knew it was gonna happen when I was watching it. I was like, okay, so, like, fucking Obi-Wan is the one that dies in 4, so Han's gonna be the old guy that dies in 7.
I mean, yeah. But, I mean,
They're not the same
at least
thing.
Kylo, like, hesitated a little bit before he...
Just because they're old?
They're established characters in the universe that are playing a mentor role and get struck down by the main bad guy.
Established characters in the universe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Obi wasn't technically established because that was the first movie.
That was the confusion
Well,
I was facing.
yeah, but
Yeah.
everyone knew who he was.
Yeah, I knew what
Like,
you meant.
yeah.
If
but
I knew
that
who he was, they
not-
wouldn't have called
not
him
for-
Ben.
Not for us, but
Yeah.
Okay.
well, Luke couldn't put two and
Just-
two together
just-
because he's bad at math.
Old mentor character gets put down by guy in black with red lightsaber.
If he was
Yeah.
bad
There
at
you go.
math, that's probably why he had such a hard time just naturally using the Force like Ray did.
Jesus!
Yeah, because the Force is based in science. And
I mean, it is
Science-
you need some
Scientology.
sort of understanding of
bullshit.
math.
Tom Cruise is a Jedi. Scienced.
I do want to talk about the effects for 1 second before we go ahead and...
And how the movie came out in 2015 and it already looks like trash.
I don't think it looks like trash.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh,
What?
go ahead.
What'd you watch it on?
The TV. the whatever. What is that in the living room?
It's a 4K, right?
4K.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
on
the thing
Disney
did
Plus?
you- wait a minute. Did you turn the thing back on?
What thing?
The processor for the TV.
I don't know. If I
Maybe that's why.
if I did, it's there to make the picture better.
No. All the CG effects kept like trailing off. Like it was super weird.
Oh, no.
And then like what's her name that Lupita plays?
Maz something.
Maz. So like Maz looked like a full-on animated like character over top of everything
What the
else.
fuck?
Yeah, like she didn't blend with anything. She didn't. She
Was he on LSD when he watched this? What the
No, I just
fuck?
watched it.
He apparently has eyes of a fly.
how many hours had it been since you slept before you watched this?
Good question.
Oh, that was only like
32 hours
14.
Okay.
No, like 14 hours.
I don't know. I thought
watched
it looked
on
good.
The same TV.
I thought it looked good.
I don't know.
I mean, the only thing that I didn't like was the Star Killer base blowing up looked kind of funny. And like when it was like imploding on itself, like when you're looking at it from space, it kind of looked like a weird like shrinking moldy fruit, and then it blew up with fire
Yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah.
which looked kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the effects were pretty good.
You know what I think?
Hmm.
I think that it's just a Death Star that's fully matured. It's got hair and all
It's
the
a
places
grown-up
it needs
Death
to be. It's a fucking planet.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know how we can make the Death Star better?
You
Put
make it
trees
fucking
on
bigger.
it. We're gonna put trees on it and snow.
I didn't like any of the scenes where there were ships in space. I thought all those looked, probably because it wasn't practical.
Did
It
you
was
watch
all
it on the
CGI'd.
Betamax?
I fucking felt like it.
I gotta go check this.
I don't know what the fuck. Anyway,
I don't know.
Like it didn't.
it just didn't look good.
No, it like looked like I was watching fucking Clone Wars, the cartoon.
Huh. I mean, I
Like-
just watched it on a that was like the first thing I watched on a brand new 4K TV, so
Yeah, I don't know.
Question. What was the last visually stunning movie you watched?
Blade Runner 2049.
I'm
just
at least you
kidding.
said 2049 because like I was like, God damn it.
Oh, I set him
Stop
up.
it.
I set
Just
him
fucking
up.
stop
Set
it.
him up.
Like I think that movie looks great, but god damn it.
No,
You're making us look like assholes.
Avengers.
I don't have to try very hard.
Avengers Endgame.
Him.
Avengers Endgame looked really good. But when I rewatched it, I was like, oh no, some of this already looks bad.
Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of times when you're in the theater, it looks better than it does when you watch it on like a 4K TV.
Yeah, I like theater definition better than 4K.
It's totally different definition.
And if
Yeah.
you subscribe to our Patreon, we'll one day be able to afford home theater systems.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're cheaper than 4K televisions.
And it's cheaper to
You just buy a projector.
I mean, it's probably
to
not
give
cheaper
us
than the
money
4K
on
TV that I bought.
Patreon.
That's probably true.
$325.
On Patreon every month.
Yes, please.
I'm trying to help.
Man, this feels like panhandling.
Anyway,
I'm not asking to wash their car windows.
we have any last thoughts before we get into ratings on this?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. Hit it up, bud.
Finn shouldn't have tried to use a lightsaber,
Yeah, I mean, probably not.
but he bought Rey time.
I
He
think.
did okay.
Yeah, I think Finn did all right. Like, I want to see Finn get trained with a lightsaber. Like, I don't think Finn is a Force user, but
Oh. Go ahead. Sorry.
what?
No, I just thought it's something I didn't talk about.
Oh, I don't think Finn is a Force user. Like some speculation, but I think he would be like just really good with a lightsaber with some training, just based off that fight scene with him and Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about the awesomeness that is Poe.
Oh, we haven't talked about Poe at all, or Captain Phasma.
And I mean, fuck that. But no, Poe.
What?
What did
Phasma's
Phasma
awesome.
do?
Phasma didn't do
She
anything.
did nothing.
It's just a background character.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
let's
it-
talk about Poe.
she got like before this came out, everybody's like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
Captain Phasma,"
That's
and
true.
then she did absolutely nothing, which was bullshit. I want to see that character do more.
I just want to point out, Poe was so badass in this movie. Like, his character was great. The cockiness, I
Mhm.
loved
Yeah.
it. But when he was getting, like, interrogated by Kylo,
Yeah,
he gave up his shit because
Yeah.
he couldn't withstand Kylo's
Force.
full power of the
Right.
Force before, Kylo got weakened by somebody else that else could control the Force. But I will digress and move forward. Poe's awesome.
Poe
Yeah.
is awesome.
So like a little bit too awesome?
No.
Like
Right amount.
no, man. Okay.
Like 2
The
level
scene-
cups of awesome.
The scene where fucking Finn's on the ground and it's just like a pan of Poe like doing loops and like shooting like 12 fucking TIE fighters in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he's the best pilot that has ever existed in the universe.
He probably has a little bit of the Force.
He has to.
Yeah.
Because, like, that is fucking ridiculous. He's just literally blows up like half a dozen or a dozen fucking TIE fighters in 20 seconds.
I mean, he's also a Skywalker.
What?
What? He's gonna be Rey's brother.
Ugh, fuck
It's
off.
impossible because Rey's dad is Palpatine.
Nope.
Yeah, I read a thing.
Fuck off with all of that.
No, I read a thing.
I know.
I know the theory too. I don't think that that's the right one. I mean, we should talk about it. We just watched it, I guess.
Rey Palpatine.
No, I think if she's anyone's, okay, I think honestly she's gonna end up being her and Rey or her and Kylo are gonna end up being brother and sister. Because out of all of it, that's what makes the most sense.
Barf.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy about it either, but I don't think she's going to be Palpatine's. I think Palpatine was too obsessed. If she is Palpatine's, I'll be upset, and this is why. Palpatine was too obsessed with furthering his own life to cultivate a life of a child. There's no way he was ever going to let some child come into his life and usurp all of his power and all of his throne. No way whatsoever. He is
How long after
Henry the Third.
Yeah, how long after the Empire falls is this?
20 years.
Okay.
I mean, didn't the Emperor have himself spread out?
Yeah, so like kind of what I was wondering is if it was like a previous cloning attempt, but that would be older.
Maybe it was the Jedi part of Palpatine.
I don't know that there was ever a Jedi part. I think
Maybe
he
there
was
was a
like
good
always
part.
Sith.
Maybe he just split himself so much up like he should not be named Voldemort, and then, the good.
She's a
stuff.
Horcrux.
Yeah.
And then I also
Well, then I hate this movie even more.
I also don't think it makes sense for her to be Luke's kid because, like, why would Luke abandon his own kid to take care of Han and Leia's kid?
Because Luke runs away from responsibilities.
So why would he pick up another responsibility?
Mean you ever make a mistake? I'm sorry. I shouldn't say mistake. You ever have a happy accident?
I don't know. Or her, like, I don't think it's Palpatine. I don't think it's Skywalker. I think her and Kylo will end up being brother and sister.
It's Obi-Wan's granddaughter.
So
That's
So
also
if-
a thing. But
if she's his sister, then why
didn't they grow up together?
well yeah,
I don't know.
why was she abandoned?
I think that will be the
That's what Leia thought she was supposed to do with twins. Problem solved.
All right, there's
Yeah,
the
there
joke.
you go.
Have a
There,
good
that's
night.
it. All right. We're gonna get to ratings now. I'm gonna go ahead and go first on this one. I'm gonna give it a 6. I like a couple of characters. The story is The main two characters, Kylo and Rey, I think are garbage. And like, not that they're bad acting. Like, this is the opposite of what we had the problem of in the original trilogy, right? In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think their acting is fine. I think the writing of these characters is very poor. My reasoning for of the Sith, because if you look at how powerful Darth Vader was, but he was always like calm and collected. He would raise his voice and he would hurt people that failed him, but it was a economy of motion. Whereas Kylo just goes off the handle, but he doesn't do anything. He gets beat by, or he gets hurt by a person that is not a Force user using a lightsaber when he should have destroyed him immediately. He gets hit by a fucking crossbow bolt when he should have sensed it coming and should have blocked it because he was distracted because he's a garbage Sith. Rey's a Mary Sue. I mean, it's plain and simple. Her acting is great, but the character is garbage. And I'm supposed to look forward to watching more movies about these characters. And I don't. I just don't. So it's a 6. Russell?
I want to say one thing in response to you.
Okay.
Kylo isn't Vader. Kylo is Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. Vader is much older in 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
But Anakin threw tempers, and Anakin threw a fit, and it took him a long time to get to when he became Vader.
Yeah, and I hated that too.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying
It was
like,
garbage then,
you
too.
were comparing him to Vader, and I think
Because
a
he
more fair
wants to be
comparison-
Vader.
Yeah, and I just think the more fair comparison is to Anakin. But
Well, he's not comparing himself to Anakin. He's comparing himself to Vader.
Mhm.
So, well, I mean, by that, he defines himself as a garbage Sith.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I get that, but okay. I have no choice but to rate this movie as a movie and not as something whether or not I like or enjoy it. There is what I perceived to be a glaring plot hole in the scroll of the movie. It says that the First Order is out to find Luke, and they will stop at nothing to find Luke. But throughout the entire movie, the only person that mentions wanting to find Luke is Kylo. And even Snoke kind of puts Kylo in his place at one point. So I don't understand where the miscommunication was with writing the scroll. But
well, they do go after it, but they aren't willing to do anything to go after it.
yeah,
Right.
it's
Kylo
right.
is
Kylo
the one that has
is-
the extreme motivation to do so.
is the driving
Whereas,
force to
like
find Luke.
Snoke and Hux are like, well, I mean, whatever. We'll just
Yeah,
destroy
we'll get
him,
there,
so
we'll
then it
get
doesn't
there.
fucking matter.
They're gonna blow up all the planets.
We got
But-
this big dick. We're gonna flex it.
Yeah. But aside from that, I don't think the movie's bad. I think it's boring. But I also think that because I just watched it 6 weeks ago. I had to get it in one more time. So honestly, I'm going to give it a 7. Which is actually higher than I rated A New Hope. Just because there's more to it, and I really like Finn, and I like Poe more than I liked anyone in A New Hope. That does include Han.
The fuck?
Yep.
Obi?
I said it. I really like Poe in this. Like, and fuck, what's his name? Who plays Poe? What's his name? What's the guy's actual name?
You're the producer.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay, thanks, guys.
IMDb crashed on me. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna think of it. It's like Isaac.
Isaacs is his last name.
Isaac's. God dang.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. I think he did a better acting job than almost anyone throughout any of these movies. He's really engaging to watch, and I enjoy him. Also, it's like, I don't know, it's cohesive. I just don't like it. Like, I don't enjoy it. That's pretty much my rating.
Oof. He was En Sabanur in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah. Oh, I was final comment, and then I'm done. If I didn't already say it, because I can't remember, they should have just remade Star Wars.
You said that.
Did I say that? Okay.
Yep, at length.
Okay. Well, I won't say it at length this time. I'm saying it, and then I'm done, and then Nathan can go.
All right, Nathan.
And my sentence has ended.
Go back to sleep, Russell. Nathan.
Here I am to ruin the podcast yet again. Thank you for your time. All right, so here we go.
Save it, and other people's
No, you be
opinion.
quiet because I'm going to trash what you said.
Go for it.
Here we go. According to Shane, a Sith Lord can never die because they can't be hit by anything and they will sense everything. Sith Lords are Spider-Men. That's what I heard. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I don't know who Mary Sue is either. I thought her name was Daisy Ridley. Call me crazy. By the way, I just learned about that Mary Sue reference yesterday from Doug.
Okay.
So I know what that means, but whatever. I just, Russell sits over here and says, I like this better than A New Hope. And then earlier in the podcast, he said it was pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of A New Hope.
Yeah.
It is.
So this movie's really good. That's what I heard them both say. 10 out of 10. Fuck everyone.
Did you just give this movie a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, because I'm an asshole. I enjoyed this movie.
So not because it's good, just because you're an asshole?
No, I like this movie.
Okay.
Honest rating? You want an honest rating?
Yeah.
I'll give you an honest rating.
Mhm.
Nice cold glass of blue milk.
There we go. There it
It's
is.
delicious.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like dripping down your beard.
No, that's the next movie.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler.
Do you like the next one more?
I don't know. Tune in.
You guys can do the next one. I don't want to fucking watch it.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of DQP Does. Oh, yeah, shit. I got plugs to get in. I just
Thanks.
wanted it to be over.
Thanks
I mean,
for
I
listening
enjoyed this
to our
episode.
final
I don't
episode.
know. I don't know why you guys didn't.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at DraftyQ. On YouTube, search for Drafty Quarters Podcast Network. On Facebook, search for Drafty Quarters Productions. You can become a patron on Patreon by searching for Drafty Quarters Productions. We are going to have several tiers of content. We have some up already. Some of it is going to be changing. We're going to be pushing back the Dyson Mike's RPG podcast from January to undetermined because we're writing our own system to play our own RPG system to play. So, I mean, that's going to take some time. We already had a good start on it, but we're getting into the meat and potatoes on that, so it's going to be a minute. We also have Smooth Squirrel Presents DQP Shoulda Does. This says the third Friday of the month starting in December. This is on the $5 second tier. Let's see. Weekly releases. $10 third tier. Starting in December. DQPD presents The Gospel of Winchester. And the Crimson Ring, a no DQ watch along, which I believe you queue up the same match or matches that Doug and Squirrely D, Smooth, Big
It's
Smooth,
just Doug.
and Squirrely D.
It's just Doug.
It's just Doug. Just Doug twice. And
He's so
Big
mad at
Smooth-
you for this episode.
Just Doug.
Big Smooth and Squirrely D watching some wrestling, giving you some alternate commentary. So that I'm actually looking forward to listening to some of that.
He's kissing ass now.
No, I'm not, because fuck you. You can email us your questions, comments, concerns, complaints at draftyq@gmail.com. The other podcasts have Twitters as well.
Yeah, Paul,
Twitter?
send us an email. I want to hear your opinions.
Yeah, Paul, send an email, draftyq@gmail.com. You can also reach all the other podcasts on Twitter at Crimson Ring Pod, at Drafty Dames. Nathan has changed his Twitter handle for some reason to Big Smooth _DQP.
To support the company.
And Doug has also changed his from Woodscale 1 to at DQP Squirrely D.
To support the company.
Is it spelled that way? Because I feel that's wrong.
What?
I feel like that's not how you spell squirrel.
E?
Hey, you're not spelling it for the audience. Get the fuck off it.
Anyway.
Get out of here. Soon we'll be premiering a new segment on various episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, where I correct all these dumb fucks.
He's a fucking asshole.
He's just mad because he got corrected on this movie.
I didn't get corrected on this movie.
He's in
We're
denial.
all assholes equally.
I don't disagree with that.
This has been DQB Does. Come get us next week when we go over, what is it, The Last Jedi?
Is that what it's called?
Sure.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Episode 8. We'll have a special guest.
Oh, will we have a guest?
We will. Stay tuned.
Oh, shit.
We'll hear
Oh,
our
we're
special
not
guest.
Saying who it is?
I don't know. I like the stay tuned.
Okay, stay tuned.
I'm hoping it adds an air of mystery and people are like, oh, now I have to come back next week.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Did you
All right,
just
say
tell
your
the-
quote.
Did you
I don't
just
have
tell him
one.
Not to
You don't have
come
one.
back.
No. No, I'm not saying don't come back. I'm just saying, like, I don't...
Well, then, do you mind if I take this one?
Go for it. Are you just going to make a bunch of thrashing noises?
Next week, we will go over Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. I've got a bad feeling about this. We're not doing the Supernatural podcast yet
What the fuck? Why does the door keep opening?
because it wasn't latched and no one locked it.
Just bump my tit into the mic.
That's sexy.
This has been a production of the Drafty Quarters Podcast Network.